Welcome back to Chasing Shadows. I'm Mark Miners, your guide through the mysteries that keep us up at night. Tonight, we're tackling the ultimate question that has haunted humanity since the dawn of time. What happens when we die? Is there a red light at the end of the tunnel? A cycle of rebirth? A fiery abyss? Or perhaps something more mind-bending, like a digital reset? Art Bell, the legendary voice of Coast to Coast AM, made this topic his playground, inviting callers from all walks of life. Truckers staring into the void of midnight highways, insomniacs wrestling with their own mortality, to share stories that blurred the line between the living and beyond. His shows weren't just radio. They were portals to the unknown, sparking debates that echoed long after the broadcast ended. Let's start from a voice from 1995.
And all of a sudden, I'm in this blue-gray plane. A blue-gray plane's comfortable. And it's as though I'm floating. And it's not like in a swimming pool, but it's more buoyant than that. You know, it's not like in the water, but it was more buoyant. And I roll over and I see myself lying across the bed. I see me.
That was Dannion Brinkley, clinically dead, seeing glimpses of what might await us all. Chills, right? Tonight we're chasing those shadows. Near-death experiences that defy science. Reincarnation tales that suggest we've been here before. Hellish voids and restless spirits that terrify. Even the wild idea that we're all in a cosmic simulation. We'll explore the theories, the real accounts, and the questions that might change how you see your own life. Is death an end, a beginning, or something we can't even grasp? Grab a coffee, throw on your headphones, and let's find out together. We're kicking off with near-death experiences, kids seeing impossible truths, adult meeting the divine. Then we'll explore past lives, dark realms, and the wild idea that death's just a glitch. Let's ease into the unknown with near-death experiences, or NDEs. These are moments when someone's clinically dead, no pulse, no brainwaves, yet they return with vivid tales of other realms. It's not just folklore. Science has taken notice. Studies like Dr. Pim van Lummel's AWARE project show that 10 to 20% of cardiac arrest survivors report NDEs, often with veridical elements, facts they couldn't possibly know, verified by witnesses. Cultures around the world describe similar visions. The ancient Egyptians spoke of judging the soul, Tibetan Buddhists of the Bardo state between lives. Are these universal truths or the brain's final fireworks? Art Bell often said NDEs were the closest we get to peeking behind the curtain without crossing over. Let's meet some who've been there and come back forever changed. Pam Reynolds, 1991. Pam was 35, undergoing risky brain surgery for an aneurysm. Doctors drained her blood, cooled her body to near freezing, stopped her heart. She was clinically dead for over an hour. Yet, from an out-of-body perspective, she described the operating room in detail. The bone saw's unique hum, like a dentist's drill, and a nurse's exact words about her veins being too small. She couldn't have heard or seen any of it. Then she floated toward a radiant light, reuniting with her deceased grandmother and uncle, feeling an overwhelmed sense of love. But she also glimpsed a darker void, pulling at her like a warning. When she woke, surgeons confirmed every detail. Was Pam's consciousness detached from her body, exploring the afterlife? Or was her brain, starved of oxygen, creating a hyperreal hallucination? Cases like this challenge everything we know about the mind and soul. Colton Burpo, 2003. Colton was just 4 when a burst appendix nearly ended his young life. During surgery, he coded, but later told his parents he had sat on Jesus' lap in heaven, met his miscarried sister, a family secret they'd never shared, and described his great-grandpa as a young man, without wings, just vibrant and full of life. He even knew his mom was praying in the waiting room and his dad was yelling at God in another. His innocent recounting became the book Heaven is for Real. Skeptics argued his religious family influenced him. But how does a toddler know unspoken family history? It's stories like Colton's that make NDEs so personal, so relatable. They force us to ask if heaven is tailored to our hearts. In one of Dr. Van Lommel's documented cases, a 9-year-old boy coded during heart surgery, blindfolded and under anesthesia. He later described the operating room from above. The tools, the doctor's movements, even a specific nurse's actions. He was nowhere near conscious. Research like this suggests NDEs aren't just dreams. They include verified perceptions that defy explanation. If the brain's offline, where does awareness go? Bringing it closer to home, let's hear some stories I found on X. At Natasha CL7 recounted nearly drowning at age 4, feeling angelic arms cradling her underwater amid a peaceful light. In 2025, at DM Bond Demand, slipped into a 10-day coma from sepsis, experiencing a surreal Dave Matthews Band concert where fragments of light symbolized hope, pulling him back to life with renewed purpose. And at Zoe Izumi, shared blacking out as a kid, waking in terror, convinced she had died, with memories of total sensory void that still haunt her dreams. These aren't scripted. They're raw, shaking people to their core, much like Art Bell's callers, who'd tell their secrets in the night. Why do kids like Colton see family secrets or surgical details like Pam? If NDEs are just brain hypoxia or a surge of DMT, how do they reveal truths beyond senses? Could consciousness be quantum, floating free like a signal untethered from the body? Or is it a divine preview, customized to our beliefs? Here's a creepy one to ponder. What's watching you right now while you're still breathing? Let that sink in. Have you ever had an NDE, seen a light, a void, or something weirder? Post in the comments. I would love to hear it. Your story could be featured next time. Shifting from those fleeting glimpses, what if death isn't a one-way trip, but more like a revolving door? Reincarnation posits that we live multiple lives, each shaped by karma, actions echoing across existences, until we reach enlightenment or nirvana. This isn't just Eastern philosophy. Plato wrote of souls choosing new lives, and a 2023 Pew poll reveals 33% of Americans believe in some form of it, cutting across religions. Dr. Ian Stevenson's exhaustive research at the University of Virginia documented over 2,500 cases, many involving children with birthmarks, matching fatal wounds from past lives or inexplicable knowledge of distant places. Art Bell loved these. Callers claiming to be historical figures, their voices trembling with conviction. It challenges our sense of self. Are we unique, or echoes of who we've been? Let's explore stories that suggest we've walked on this earth before, carrying some unseen baggage. Shanti Devi, 1930s. In 1930s India, 4-year-old Shanti Devi insisted she was Lugdi Devi, a wife who died in childbirth from distant town. She named her husband, described the house's layout, even revealed where money was hidden under a floorboard. Skeptical investigators escorted her 100 miles away, She recognized the town, her former family, and then led them straight to the cache. Mahatma Gandhi himself reviewed the case, calling it credible. In a culture steeped in reincarnation, Shanti's story became legend. But it raises global questions. How does a child know secrets from another life? Fast forward to America. 2-year-old James Leininger woke screaming from nightmares of a plane crash. He detailed being a World War II pilot, naming his Corsair fighter, the ship Natoma Bay, and his identity, James Huston, shot down over Iwo Jima in 1945. His parents, initially dismissive, verified it all through military records and veteran reunions. James even recognized Huston's sister in a photo. It's not just memory, it's emotional residue, suggesting souls can carry trauma across lives. Then there's Christian Hopt from California. This one's my favorite. At 2, he told his mom, Kathy Bird, he was a tall baseball player whose body stopped working. He described traveling by train to games, hating Babe Ruth, they had a real feud, and being Lou Gehrig, the Yankees icon who died of ALS in 1941. Pointing to old photos, he identified Gehrig and recounted knee injuries and team details no toddler could know. At 3, he threw the ceremonial first pitch at a Dodgers game, as if reliving glory. His story inspired a book and a film, The Boy Who Knew Too Much. Skeptics say his mom, a baseball fan, influenced him. But what about the specific verified facts? They linger like a ghost from the diamond. Adults tap into this too. In 2023, Shelise underwent past life regression hypnosis and spoke fluent Arabic, a language she'd never studied. Describing life in ancient Middle Eastern village, complete with prayers and customs verified by linguists as centuries old. Sessions like hers popularized in podcasts, suggesting hypnosis peels back layers of the soul, revealing hidden histories. On X, the conversation continues. At Jeongprint shared repeated meditations showing her as a girl in an emerald landscape with a bearded father. Details so vivid, it feels like a memory, not imagination. At Kabamur Tegeta claims 78 Earth lives, starting in prehistoric Ireland 11,000 years ago, with names and events matching obscure folklore. And user WizArab10, his 4-year-old brother casually recalled building their grandpa's house. Quoting exact 1970s costs, his family confirmed. These posts aren't outliers. They're part of a growing chorus wondering if we're all recycled souls. What if your deepest fears, like a drowning or falling, stem from a past life's tragic end? If hypnosis unlocks dead languages, or a toddler channels Lou Gehrig, is it soul memory or subconscious cryptomnesia? Could remembering who you were heal modern traumas, or open doors best left closed? And here's a wild one. What if you're living someone else's sequel right now, and your talents or phobias are clues? As we venture deeper, not all shadows are welcoming. Some lead to hellish voids or restless spirits trapped in limbo. Hell isn't just biblical fire, it's cultural. Greek Hades, Norse hell, all realms of judgment or torment. A 2023 poll shows 58% of Americans believe in hell, often thought as eternal separation from love. Poltergeists, meanwhile, are chaotic energies, documented in folklore from medieval Europe to modern investigations. Art Bell's shows thrived on these darker tales, callers describing demonic whispers or objects flying, their fear palpable through the static. These stories remind us that the afterlife might not be paradise. it could reflect our unresolved demons. Buckle up, this segment's heavy, but it's where the real introspect begins. Brian Melvin, 1980s. Brian succumbed to cholera, plunging into a fiery hell where he witnessed historical figures in eternal torment. Visions so vivid, he could name specifics like Hitler's suffering. Then a divine light rescued him, leading to heaven's peace. Since then, he's been dedicating his life to preaching redemption, warning that hell is real, but avoidable through choice. Kathy McDaniel in the 2000s. Kathy's medical emergency thrust her into a non-place. Not literal flames, but an abyss of crushing isolation, regret echoing endlessly. She pleaded for mercy before returning, transformed into a spiritual advocate by 2025. Her account suggests hell might be self-imposed, a mirror of our earthly guilts amplified. In a desperate suicide attempt, a man slit his throat and entered a realm of fiery entities tormenting souls. The horror was so profound, he survived with a new mission, helping others avoid that fate. Shared in podcasts all over, it's a stark reminder that some NDEs aren't blissful. They're calls to change. A user on X, at Ireland FRA 47138, was clinically dead for 13 minutes after a 2024 car crash. She described a detached out-of-body limbo, watching her body below. No pain, but an eerie emptiness that left her questioning everything upon revival. Enfield Poltergeist, 1977 through 79. In a London home, two sisters experienced over 1,500 incidents. Furniture levitating, voices growling from thin air claiming to be deceased. The Society for Psychological Research investigated, capturing audio and photos. Even recent revisits with EVPs suggest stuck souls, unwilling to move on. Beloved grandfather from 2024. A family grieved their grandpa, only for poltergeist activity to erupt. Objects thrown, not in anger, but seeming to protect them from harm. Mediums recorded his voice on EVPs, verified in 2024 podcast. The audio has been circulated as loving messages from beyond. At UCLA in the 1970s, researchers simulated hauntings, but captured real poltergeist phenomena, moving objects, disembodied voices. 2024 analysis link it to quantum fields persisting after death, blending science with the supernatural. Is hell a place of divine punishment? Or do we craft it from our own regrets and isolation? Are poltergeists vengeful spirits, or echoes of unresolved trauma, begging for closure? What if this life is already a kind of purgatory, where your choices echo into eternity? Imagine that. Could your daily struggles be lessons from a larger cycle? Now for the mind bender. What if reality isn't real? Simulation theory, popularized by philosophers like Nick Bostrom and physicists exploring multiverses, suggests we're in an advanced program. Life as code, death as logging out or resetting. Quantum immortality takes it further. In infinite parallel universes, your consciousness always jumps to a timeline where you survive. Art Bell dipped into this with guests discussing matrix glitches and alternate realities. Callers reporting Mandela effects, where history seems rewritten. It's fringe, but with AI advancing, it feels eerily plausible. These ideas don't just scare, they liberate, making us question if death is the ultimate upgrade. A TikTok user shared an experience of driving off a cliff in 2025, blacking out mid-fall, only to wake safely on the road. Her dash cam footage glitched, showing no accident. She attributes it to quantum jumping, a shift to a surviving timeline. Coincidence? Or a Sims error correction? One anonymous account details surviving multiple fatal events: a semi-truck collision, stabbings, near drownings, each time feeling a shift. They call it quantum immortality in action, where death branches you to another reality. Survivor bias or proof of infinite selves. Neurosurgeon Eben Alexander, once a staunch atheist, comatose from meningitis, journeyed to a core realm, hyper-vivid beyond physical laws. By 2025, he argues it's evidence of a simulation-like afterlife, where consciousness transcends the code of our world. At F4MyCom on X recounts dodging 5 to 6 childhood accidents, a falling TV to car wrecks, wondering if they're immortal in this timeline. At Milky Ways felt an invisible force lifting her during a violent attack, landing her safe like a programmed intervention. At 202 Accepted lists over 8 deaths, shootings, crashes, yet persists, tying it to quantum survival. If you die in one timeline, but awaken in another, is aging an eternal loop or a gift of endless chances? Are everyday glitches, deja vu, near misses, hints of a simulation? What if death's just a reset button? But who programmed the game? And why are we the players? We've chased a lot of shadows tonight, from the radiant lights of near-death experiences to the cyclical whispers of reincarnation, the chilling voids of hell and poltergeists, and the glitchy possibilities of simulation theory. Each theory, each story, peels back layers of the mystery, reminding us that death isn't just an end. It's a mirror to how we live. Art Bell taught us to embrace the unknown, to let it spark curiosity rather than fear. His legacy lives in conversations like this, where we confront eternity together. I'll leave you with this last story I found. After Walter Kern lost his mom, he envisioned death as a reunion spot, a place where love gathers beyond time. Beautiful, isn't it? What if death depends on what you believe? Your fears crafting hell, your hopes building heaven. Or what if every path, light, rebirth, nothingness, a reset, is true for different souls? A multiverse of afterlives. Sit with that tonight and let it reshape your tomorrow. Keep this mystery alive. Share your NDEs, ghost encounters, past life hunch, or simulation in the glitch in the comments. Your voice matters to me. It could connect with someone chasing the same shadows. From the edge of the unknown, this is Chasing Shadows. Good night.